Welcome to Street Moto Z. Today I'm going to be doing the second session for level 2 exercises. I'm going to go through all the different exercises today, second time trying them all, different day. Let's see how it goes. Alright guys, this is the level 2 cone weave. First attempt. These cones are 15 feet apart and they're spaced 5 feet wide. I had a lot of trouble with this last time in the last session, which was the first session. This is the second session. I'm going to be doing all 4 exercises in this session. This is the first exercise, the cone weave. And last time I learned how to whip the front handlebars. And so every time I went around the cone, I would whip here and whip and whip and whip. What I'm doing now is I want to get a little bit faster at this cone weave. Just sitting on top of the motorcycle and whipping the handlebars around each one of these cones is okay, but it's kind of at a slow speed. So I want to get a faster speed. Up there I missed a cone and I had to skip a couple cones. So I'm trying to get a little bit more speed while whipping the handlebars, and I'm finding the only way to get some more speed is to try to lean the motorcycle more. And see, I just bailed out this time. Just trying to get a little bit more speed. This cone weave exercise is on a very slight downhill also, so it's hard to maintain a specific speed for me, but I think that's mostly in my head. All right, this is attempt number 7. Whip, whip, and lean. I'm finding I need to lean the motorcycle after I whip it. Whip it. See, quick lean. I went a little bit wide on that last 8th cone. We've got 8 cones set up this time instead of 7. Whip, whip, and lean. Whip and lean. See, I'm getting a pretty good lean of the motorcycle here, but I'm going a little bit too slow. I need a little bit more speed. So I'm whipping around each one of these cones, trying to shift the weight really quick, shift the weight really quick. And I'm finding my body is not able to shift weight as quickly as the motorcycle is, if that makes sense. So what I'm trying to do is push the steering wheel down every time I whip. So I'll whip and try to push the steering wheel down, whip and push it down, whip and push it down. The turning leading edge handlebars, I'm trying to push those down. Push it down, and whip, whip and push it down. So I'm thinking more push it down than whip. Attempt 12. So as I push that leading edge handlebar down, I'm finding keeping my body straight up and down and not leaning with the motorcycle seems to help a little bit. I'm starting to figure that out now. So I'm going to try to whip and push it down, whip and push it down. But I just was trying to do too much and had to bail out of that one. So this is attempt 14. And I want to get some good speed, some decent speed around these cones, just a little bit faster, a couple miles per hour faster. I'm not asking for a whole lot, but it's easier said than done. Temp 15. This is one of my weakest exercises out of all of the exercises, I think. So I really spent a lot of time here. I probably spend at least half my time out here on this cone weave section. I just feel I'm not doing it the way I should be doing it, and I really need to improve this weak part of my turning. Now I'm starting to push that handlebar down, starting to do a little bit better with it. You see how I'm whipping and pushing it down and keeping my body erect, but also leaning the bike. That was a little bit better. Temp 17. Lean the bike. Lean the bike. I'm starting to think lean the bike instead of whip, instead of push it down. Lean the bike. My muscles are starting to automatically do the whip part and the pushing down. And see, I felt good. I gave a thumbs up on that one. I could feel I was leaning the bike, and I went through the cone weave a lot faster than I normally would. And I was actually starting to lock out the handlebars on quite a few of these turns. See how fast the handlebars are whipping around? When I lean the motorcycle, it even whips faster. So doing that motorcycle lean is really helping. I just need to get really proficient at it, though. Lean it, lean it and turn. See, I'm actually going much further than the cones on each one of these turns now. It's like the cones could be 8 feet wide almost. Now that I'm leaning the motorcycle a little bit more and thinking lean it and turn. Lean it, turn and lean, turn and lean. Turn and lean. I'm starting to think that way now. Attempt 22. This is a lot of attempts, but I really want to improve this part of my skill set. See how I'm just really clearing the cones well and finishing nice and under control. Attempt 23. See how the front end is leaning downward. See how it dips and leans, dips and leans, dips and leans. Yes, that was a really good one. Attempt 24. Look, I'm dipping and leaning now. See how it just dip and lean, dip and lean. That's much better. I wasn't even close to this last session. So this is how it felt to me. So I would dip and lean the bike. See, my body is straight up and down, but the bike is dipping and leaning around each cone. I'm actually counterbalancing. And instead of leaning my body in the direction the motorcycle is going, leaning my body the opposite direction. Okay, this is the next exercise. This is the 30-foot cone circle. It's a set of cones 30 feet in diameter. And I'm doing the counterclockwise. And I'm thinking that same type of turning that I did in the weave session. I'm thinking dip and counter lean. So I'm leaning the opposite direction that the motorcycle's leaning. See? Almost sticking my knee out. Right now I'm going clockwise. My right arm, sticking way out and way down to try to lean the motorcycle down in the direction of the turn while keeping my body straight up and down, or actually it felt like it was leaning the opposite direction. And I just did really good on this circle, this 30-foot circle. I think I could have done a 20-foot circle using this counter lean technique. I was really feeling this counter lean well, and it was helping me turn very sharply and actually go a little bit faster around the circle. A few times I locked the handlebars out, but I wanted to be sure not to turn too sharp on one part of the circle and then get too wide on the other. Like right here, I was looking over my right shoulder. I was looking toward the far cone as far as I could see over my right shoulder. And the motorcycle is leaning right. My upper body is leaning left. My right arm is leaning downward, much lower than my left arm. And I am able to turn really good. Had a little foot stomp there, but that was just a really sharp part of the turn, and I got a little bit too slow. And I don't need to get too slow. I need to continue to manage my speed using the friction zone of the clutch, going counterclockwise, trying to do that same counter leaning. And this is the clockwise attempt. Trying to do the same counter leaning, dipping the motorcycle down into the turn the entire time. And when I do this, it seems like it's easier to lock out the handlebars. In other words, turn them as far right as possible. Okay, this is the third exercise, the quick stop. I need to stop in less than 18 feet. I'll bring the motorcycle up to 20 miles per hour in second gear, start the stop at the blue cones, and when I stop, I need to be in first gear and ready to roll. I think I had the red cone at 20 feet instead of 18 feet. So the 18-foot mark is actually where the white line is close to the cone. So that's where I need to have stop every time. And I'm doing pretty good. Just stopped right before the white line. That's the 18-foot mark. And I slid the back tire a few times. Don't want to slide the back tire if I can help it. I did hear it slide, like right there. I heard it. And I need to make sure that I don't slide the back tire. There, that's a good stop. And this is attempt 10. Stopped before the white line, that's good. So every time I seem to stop right before the 18-foot mark. So I did pretty good up. That was right on the white line. So that's a passer, I guess. So I did pretty good on the quick stop today. And I'm doing pretty good on a lot of things. That counter leaning has really helped. So I'm bringing that counter leaning idea into the parking space weave. I have to go down the lane of a couple of parking spaces here. This is the first lane. And then turn and go down the second lane of the two parking places. And work my way all the way down the parking lot in this fashion. So I found what helps a good bit is that counter leaning. So I will first counter steer and then counter lean. And I was trying to use that idea it was a little bit rough at the very first. It was helping a good bit, and the more I did it, I slowly, increasingly got a little bit better at it. I did do a few foot stomps, and that was mainly a speed issue on the turn. See, my turns are pretty good this time. I definitely need to do another session at this level 2. I want to get this parking space weave to where I can zip down these parking spaces and slow a little bit and then do a quick turn and zip down and then do the next quick turn to the next parking spaces. Just continuing doing the same thing. I am using that counter leaning, counter steering idea. So like right here, I would do a counter steer and then a counter lean. The counter steer will pull away from the direction I want to go, and then the counter lean will lean the opposite direction of the way the motorcycle's leaning. And again, that counter leaning is only good for slow movements, moving slow in a parking lot or in a gas station parking lot or in small, slow spaces. That's what the counter lean is for. Actual highway riding and street riding, you don't want to counter lean. That can get you in trouble to where your bike's leaned over too far. You could slide your motorcycle. I believe it's called the low side. You can low side your motorcycle. I didn't go all the way to the end because I could tell I was getting some good feel, and so I just started my way back. I'm trying to do the counter lean, trying to get a little bit more speed. And then at the same time, I was starting to get a little bit tired. My hands were starting to get tired, so I was trying to rest them while doing this at the same time. Try not to use my hands as hard, as strong. I just did a foot plant there. Counter steer, counter lean. That counter steer is almost done with a counter lean itself. See how quick that turn was? That was nice. That counter lean really allows the bike to lean over more and to turn faster and sharper all at the same time. It's pretty amazing. See how the motorcycle just dipped into that turn with a counter lean? Motorcycle dipped into that. It's starting to dip really nicely into the turn. Counter steer and dip. Counter lean. So it's feeling a lot better. It's still not something that just happens. I'm still having to think about a lot of stuff here, but it's feeling a lot better. I want to get again where I'm faster, where I don't have to think about as many things. I figured I should stop. I'm done with this exercise, but I wanted to show you kind of how it felt with the counter steer and then the counter lean. So this is me. Counter steer, counter lean. Counter steer, counter lean. My body is actually leaning the opposite direction that the motorcycle's leaning. Counter steer, counter lean. The way I'm turning, my shoulder and arm dip. See how my shoulder and arm on that turning side dips? That's how it feels. I hope that helps you guys. Hope you like this video. Like and subscribe. And remember, it's not about the destination. It's about the ride, baby. Yeah! Still got my dragonfly, buddy.